please subscribe and don't forget to press the bell icon to get notified whenever we upload a new video.
10,400 is where the markets have opened. That's about 8 points down.
I think the volumes are going to get significantly higher.
The company still has enough assets and has enough to cover up and ensure that the construction of the MADA component will be completed.
Capital always give the biggest strength of the bank and to grow future business.
ICICI Securities, which is the brokerage arm of ICICI Bank, that is opening up its issue.
The markets are down about 12 points, which is essentially a good outcome, essentially considering the fact that things were a little bit worse off.
What was really not helping market today was a clutch of heavies led by Reliance. That was actually down about 2%, and that led to the Nifty move.
Another volatile day of trade on Dalal Street. The Nifty and Sensex failed to hold the recovery post-lunch and slipped 0.5% in the red by end of day.
Banks remain in focus after RBI Governor Urjit Patel defends the RBI after the government blamed the regulator for PNB fraud. The Bank Nifty ends in the red among PSU banks. Central Bank, Andhra Bank and IDBI Bank see some major gains.
Industry veteran Baba Kalyani reports heightened demand on the ground for goods, calls for capacity expansion, expects Bharat Forge to post significantly higher volumes.
The primary market sees some hectic activity. The 4,400 crore Bandhan Bank IPO opens for subscription today. ICICI Securities too announces its 4,200 crore new issuance.
Midcaps slip in the last hour of trade but managed to outperform the bigger indices. Stocks like Jaiprakash Associates, SAIL, Just Dial, Jubilant Foods see significant gains. Select tech stocks also ended the day in the green. Well, those were the top 5 headlines from the day's trading action. Hello and welcome to Markets Today Talk Back, the show where we tell you about 8 hours of market trading in just 5 headlines, simplifying it for you. I'm Lata Venkatesh, with me Prashant Nair, my colleague. Hi Prashant.
Lata, hi. And we will get you through the next 30 minutes with the top 5 stories, market stories of the day. The headlines, of course, will come right up. But we'll also take your questions, as always. To help answer those questions, our experts are with us. Mayuresh Joshi of Angel Broking and Mitesh Thakkar on the charts. Gentlemen, thanks very much, both of you, for being with us here. But before we come to the both of you, let's take stock of the market today. I mean, if you look at the Nifty, it would seem like a bad day, but you look just beneath the surface and there was a lot of activity, and activity in the green. Lata.
Yeah, you could say that the advance declines have favored the advances. But I mean, the day started with a significant amount of probably headwinds for the market in the form. I mean, you must remember that yesterday the markets ended at the high point of the day and there was a pullback in the Bank Nifty despite some negative news. But today you had a kind of an exacerbation of the trade war globally. You had Dow Jones not doing, Wall Street indices not doing well, Asian indices not doing terribly well. And also the bipole results, while they were known yesterday as well, still hangs like a cloud, dampening sentiment. Most importantly, Urjit Patel, Governor Patel's statement clearly said that he wants to be severe with the NPA problem. And that also meant that you shouldn't be expecting forbearance. So to that extent, PSU banks also were under pressure. Considering that, I think the mid-caps did very well. But really, is the market poised to go up or down is the question that I want to ask our experts. But anyway, stock-wise, anything you want to
I mean, so I just want to start with spots of weakness. Energy stocks were lower in terms of a sector. PSU bank stocks again in the red. FMCG, there was some weakness. The indices are on your screen. I mean, in terms of, big sectors which were actually higher, there wasn't very much. Nifty weakness, Reliance Industries, Yes Bank, GAIL, ICICI Bank, Tata Steel. I mean, just kind of a bunch of stocks which lost the most. Large stocks which were higher, Asian Paints, Mahindra & Mahindra, HDFC Bank. But, I mean, as we've been saying, this is just the Nifty, the large stocks. The action was beyond it. So let's get to it. So stocks which were actually higher and higher by on very large volumes, IDBI Bank, Jaiprakash Associates, almost 18% higher today. Central Bank of India was up about 14%. MCX, it got beaten down, no end, it rebounded. And then there were these Hindustan Copper, MMTC type stocks, all government owned. HEG Graphite continue their run. Future Retail, Future Group stocks have had a good run last few days. Shriram Transport, there was an upgrade. Walchand Nagar, Quick Heal participated with very good volumes as well. Minda Industries, Mastech, TV Today were three stocks that I could pick out, which were down on pretty large volumes.
Okay, that's a bunch of questions we need to ask our guests. Let me once again invite Mayuresh and Mitesh to join us. Mitesh, well, first, the broad direction of the indices itself, they ended in the red, though there has been a positive breath in the sense the number of advancing stocks are more. Where's the market headed? Break down or break out?
Yeah, good evening, Lata. I think we've had what I would call as a choppy range for the last 2-3 days after that big up move. And I think, we are now close to the support areas of 10,350, 360, which is where a lot of intraday moving averages converge. So short term, I think that's an important level to watch out for. If we start getting below 10,350 and we're practically there, then I think, we might slide down a bit more. 10,280, 10,150, 160, which is the 200 average area could be revisited. If we manage to hold this, I think this still looks like a choppy bounce back, and we will be in a range of about 10,500 to about 10,350.
Okay. Then let's get to the second headline of the day, which is banks. Remained in focus after Reserve Bank Governor Urjit Patel said that he intends to continue with his move against NPAs and intends to clean up that 8.5 lakh crore of NPAs and perhaps more. The Nifty Bank slipped in the last hour of trade and closed about 0.2 of a percentage point in the red. But PSU banks, among them Central Bank, Andhra Bank and IDBI Bank, did see gains. As a whole, there were also some PSU banks, big PSU banks, which ended in the red. HDFC Bank, just to point out, because there's such a big weight in the Nifty Bank, was up by nearly 1%, thereby helping the Nifty Bank index.
Just a quick point. It's rare to hear Urjit Patel outside of the policy speaking. He did. I mean, the quotes got picked up. There was a sense of helplessness, which was expressed in the speech that the RBI can't be everywhere. At the same time, he was also pretty strong, right? I mean, I'm going to continue down this route.
I completely agree with you. It was a very strong speech.
Yeah.
I don't think it was helplessness as much as explaining that, even in a very good policing...
My only question is the market reaction was kind of confusing. You didn't really know. I mean, actually in the morning, I thought, what he said was actually good for banks, and it's generally, positive risk, but it didn't really pan out that way. Broadly.
No, I thought, my own reading was that yesterday, that rally, I mean, I don't know what brought that recovery in public sector banks or in banking stocks in general, but there were a lot of brokers telling me or asking me, is there going to be some MTM forbearance, mark-to-market forbearance on bond losses? We understand so. Or is it going to kind of loosen up on the February circular, which is severe about NPA resolution? Neither of that. We broke the story in the morning that the IBA has not even written to the Reserve Bank just yet about MTM losses. And on the February circular, I think there is a clarion call from Governor Patel saying that this is the way to go, and he wants good people, industry bodies to support what he says the Devas side of the
references rooted in mythology as well.
Absolutely.
Pretty strong stuff.
So clearly he's saying I'm not going to deviate from my position of cleaning the NPAs, and I think that is the position to take. We can't any longer kick the can forward. So my point was that because he was so severe, public sector banks, or for that matter corporate lending banks, you saw the pressure on ICICI Bank, Yes Bank. For me, that was on expected lines, although it may have come a little late because of the technical reasons surrounding the expiry of the weekly contract, the Nifty Bank contract.
Actually, on a day-to-day basis, very tough to, because these stocks have been beaten down so much, so could go anywhere.
Okay, but
on
I
a
think
day-to-day basis. But I think we've got a caller, yes. So Prasad V is calling us from Karnataka with a question on HDFC banks, so not PSU banks, but I mean the bluest of the blue chips. He's got 100 shares of HDFC Bank. He's paid 1,500 rupees each for them. He wants to know what to do. I think, Prasad, why don't you tell us? I mean, do you need the money? Do you want to buy more? What's your question?
Thank you. Actually, it's not that I need the money. I was just wondering, in the current climate where everybody is a little wary about banking stocks, the time I started picking up HDFC Bank is because I believed in everything that's around the HDFC Bank stock. I would like to hold it for 8 to 10 years, preferably even buy further. So my question is, would you recommend buying further on dips, or should I just sell at a high?
Okay, that's a great question, Pradeep. Prasad, sorry. Mayuresh, what would you advise him? Should he is ready to hold it for 8 to 10 years. Should he buy on dips, or should he sell this rally?
Looking at the aftermath after the PNB issue, my sense is that the HDFC Bank itself is looking very, very lucrative at this point of time. The kind of growth parameters that it has exhibited will continue to be very, very strong. The retail advances have grown at a fast clip, and the earnings momentum with retail advances growing at that pace should lend support both in terms of the stress on asset quality, which should not be as evident as corporate-facing banks, as well as the provisioning that is there. I think the elevated provisioning would not be so severe as again required by corporate-facing banks. So yes, I think in a staggered way, the investor can definitely add on to HDFC Bank on dips. And yes, since the holding period is that long, my sense is that you just monitor your stock over the next 1.5 to 2 years and take it from there. But yes, we remain positive on the stock, so any decline is a good buying opportunity in a staggered way.
Okay, that's as clear as it comes, Prasad. Buy on all dips and hold on for that 8 or 10 years that you intend to. Next question comes from Pradeep. He wants to know the right time to enter the market to buy SBI shares for a long-term holding. Mitesh, that's yours.
Yeah, I think this could be the right time. I would say that because for the chart of SBI, I think 240 to 35 is a very strong support on the monthly chart. So I think, you're very close to those levels. So I think this is a good time to accumulate. I don't expect this level to be broken while, the other banks might correct a bit more. I think SBI around 240 should possibly hold out, and while it might take time to reverse, I think money being put over here on the longer term chart should help you out to possibly exit at about 320 odd levels in the next 12 to 18 months.
Okay, so that's banks for you, HDFC Bank and State Bank of India. Well, let's move on to the third big story of the day. Industry veteran and Bharat Forge chairman and the managing director Baba Kalyani today reported heightened demand on the ground. He also called for capacity expansion, and he said he expects Bharat Forge to post significantly higher volumes. Let's actually listen in to the man himself first.
Most of us who are in the manufacturing business, either connected with infrastructure products or connected with automotive, are seeing a huge bump up in demand, creating the necessity to expand capacities. And I think a big capex cycle is beginning to start, at least in these sectors. For the first time, we are seeing capacities running full up, demand increasing beyond what we had planned for, and therefore a need for a lot of new capacities. The defense business is shaping up reasonably well, although I must admit we haven't seen any big orders, and that's something that we are hoping for to happen. But we are beginning to see business trickle in, so you will see a much larger amount of revenue coming from our defense business. On BML, I haven't heard anything new in the last couple of weeks, so I presume it's kind of status quo where it was a few weeks ago. I guess we will hear about it only after the elections.
Okay, that was the industry veteran saying that demand is back in full fury. On that, some questions on related shares. Shweta has written to us. She wants to buy Escorts and Bharat Forge. Okay, so one is a tractor maker and one is perhaps making some forgings for it. She wants to know if the current levels are the right time to enter the market. Also wants to know a one-year target for both stocks, that is Escorts and Bharat Forge. Okay, Mitesh, this time I'll start with you.
So Escorts, I think to me looks slightly corrective. I think while the longer term trend is still on the upside, I think it's now showing signs of tiredness and consolidation. So I think I will give you a proper entry point, which should be closer to about roughly, let's say about 12% lower from here. 750 to about 700 is the long term support zone. I think to try to buy it closer to those levels of 750. Bharat Forge, I think, also has been showing good outperformance, and the chart still remains quite positive. The exact entry points, if you were to ask, I think we're not very far away from those. I think anything close to about 700 to about 680 is your buying range, roughly about 5% correction, and maybe you can start right now, buy staggered, and even if there's 5% correction, add more.
You're with us here on Markets Today Talk Back. The indices ended lower, but the broader market in terms of advanced decline looked pretty okay. Mayuresh Joshi, Mitesh Thakkar are with us. They've been answering your questions, and we got through the top 3 stories of the day. Let's get to the fourth one that we want to focus on. The primary market is heating up once again. The 4,400 crore rupee Bandhan Bank IPO opened for subscription. ICICI Securities has also announced its 4,200 crore new issuance. Let's listen in to what Chanda Kochar, the chairperson at ICICI Securities, had to say.
As we look forward, one is that the macroeconomic conditions are very conducive for the growth of this business because, savings are getting more and more financialized. There's a growth in financial savings in the country and which are being invested in not just equity markets, mutual funds, life insurance and so on. So I think the macroeconomic conditions are very conducive, and at the same time this company has a very strong technology-based model which is backed by a very strong physical distribution and has a very well diversified source of income.
Okay, well, we can't take questions now on this because we haven't got any. So let's get to the final headline of the day. Midcaps outperformed benchmark indices. The Nifty Midcap Index closed around 0.4%, 0.39 to be precise, in the green. Stocks like SAIL, Jaiprakash Associates, Just Dial and Jubilant Food saw significant gains. Tech stocks, some midcap tech stocks too, featured among the outperformers. Mindtree, for instance, closing about 5.5% up. NIIT Technologies touching a record high and closing over 6% in the green. That's the list of stocks that did very well. Now let's actually listen to some opinion we got from Mihir Vora of Max Life Insurance.
With the US corporate sector, looking good because of the tax cuts, we do expect increased spending in IT. And within IT, probably companies which are more capable and which have developed a greater focus on the digitally enabled ecosystem, space should continue to do well. There should be good opportunities in the mid-cap space. There are some companies which have done this quite smartly. They should continue to do well.
All right, so we've got some questions now coming in from that space. Sulabh Chokani has 170 shares of Mindtree, which he's paid 545 rupees each for. He wants to know if he should sell the stock or hold on. So this is coming in from Sulabh on Mindtree. Mitesh, you want to take this?
Hello. Mindtree started its uptrend about 4 or 5 months back. And while it's been moving up every month since then, I think it might consolidate. I think the overall trend does suggest that if he holds on for about 6 to 12 months, I think the stock could be trading at much higher levels. I don't think on the downside, the 750, 760 odd zone would be broken. And I think eventually the stock will head towards 1100, 1150 kind of target. So my advice is to clearly hold on, and maybe you would want to really stop us at 750.
Got it. Okay, the next question comes from Sharad. He has a question on KPIT Technologies, wants to invest 75,000 rupees in the stock and wants to know the right time to enter the stock. Mayuresh, what would you say? First of all, choice of the stock and choice of time.
So Lata, again from the mid-cap IT pack, Mindtree Scient is something that we remain extremely optimistic about over the next 1.5 to 2 years. As Mitesh was mentioning, I think Mindtree had exceptional performance and the management is very, very clear and optimistic that FY19 will be better. So what you've probably seen, both in terms of the dollar growth of 3.8%, sequential pricing growth of 5.8%, the order book at $700 million dollars looks extremely encouraging, and the EBITDA margins expected to hold up because of the optimization on the SGA front, along with a lot of clients reaching the maturity stage from the transition stage. So again, I think selective on mid-cap IT, but instead of KPIT, I would suggest selectively buying into Mindtree Scient, or even something like a Nucleus Software.
All right. That's a bunch of ideas from our guests. Thank you very much, Mitesh and Mayuresh, for joining us. That's it on this edition of Markets Today Talk Back. Thanks for watching.